Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have with me Jeremy Roadruck. Hey, Jeremy.
How you doing?
I am doing great. I am so excited about our conversation because you work with dads to become excellent dads. So I want to get deep into that.
Absolutely. I love these kind of conversations because guys will listen and they will take things to heart. They don't always engage, but they're always looking for like, how do I get better? And there's a lot, the really good dads, they worry if they're good dads. The bad dads never worry if they're good or not. They don't care. They know they're amazing and they're full of crap. So I'm excited for today. This is definitely, we had to reschedule because of my schedule, but I'm excited. We're here and we're gonna rock.
Yeah. So just so people know who you are, I'm just going to read your short bio.
Mhm.
So, Jeremy Roadruck is a men's mentor, relationship strategist, and multi-time best-selling author known for his no-nonsense, results-driven, yet playful approach to helping men fix their marriages, reconnect with their kids, and lead with confidence. A husband, father, international champion, and six-degree Kung Fu master, Jeremy is also a hypnotherapist, neuro-strategist, former soldier, and former factory worker, so he knows what it means to work hard and play smart. And I'm going to let him tell the rest of his story because you are just full of surprises, all these things you've done. So tell us your story.
Yeah, I've lived like, I don't know, 5 or 6 lifetimes so far. Renaissance Festival factory worker, lived in a tent in the woods, like lived out of my car for a little while, lived out of my business for a while, like very kind of bohemian on some level. It's been fantastic. So, you said something really important in that bio, which is men's mentor, right? I just did a post recently about getting a coach, getting a trainer, and getting a mentor, because those are very, very different things. A trainer is there to get you a specific skill and they're going to help you accomplish and measure and let's do the thing. And a coach, a lot of times, is about accountability and feedback and how are you performing. And you can have people give you all the right tools. There's still, how do I get this implemented in my life in a realistic way? And that's really the job of a mentor, is someone who's walked the path, right? I am a dad, I am a stepdad, I am a best-selling author, I am a kung fu master, I am a soldier, I am a factory worker, I had my own business. I've got this whole list of things I've been doing for decades. And I arrived at this place of men's mentor because men are struggling, men are suffering. The stats are horrible. 10 divorced dads a day end their lives. When a dad does end himself, his kids now are 40 to 60% more likely to get involved in risky behaviors, ending their own lives. Like the level of impact that dads make in the kids' lives is so often taken for granted. It's seemingly invisible. I mean, moms are important, absolutely. Dads are equally important. It's a both and. And I see so many conversations where people are stuck in, well, who's suffering more and who's justified to be more defensive? And I'm like, you're arguing into the pavement. And is that really what you want? Versus you want to be seen and heard and appreciated and understood and respected and admired. And you want to live your life at a higher level. Like, cool. Let's focus on the things we want. It's much more powerful, right? Don't forget. Oh, you mean remember? What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to don't forget. You want to remember. Don't forget is 2 words. It's negative and it's not what you actually want. You want to remember. So let's say remember. It's more powerful, right? You hear people, oh, I just forgot. It's like, no, you just realized. Because if you forgot the thing you just said that you forgot, you wouldn't be conscious of the fact you forgot it. You'd still be forgetting it. So oh, I forgot my keys. I forgot my phone. I forgot oh, you just realized you don't have it. Oh, yeah. And that simple little thing, it sounds kitschy, it sounds kind of gimmicky, but there's a whole different level of reality available in those two different points of view, right? Tell a kid, don't run. They're sprinting. And if it was a kid like me, I'm not running, I'm sprinting because they're different, right? Or don't run. So I start doing cartwheels. I'm not running. Don't run. So I start doing the moonwalk, I start doing the worm because you're being inelegant. What did you want me to walk? Oh, walk safely, walk carefully, walk with consciousness, walk with quietness, walk with purpose. Cool. Say that. not don't run. Because how many negatives can I give you around a thing that you're going to spontaneously realize the positive thing I actually wanted? Almost never, right? There are so many not walk ways to move that do not equal walk, please. And so that's really kind of where I'm at now is as a men's mentor. It's like, well, here's what we want to be, men. Here's where we want to go. So I built this whole thing called Lead Like a King because like that's the embodiment. That's the actual you're there. And I arrived at that literally decades of working with people. I've got over 30 years working with kids from 3 to 94. And part of that, martial arts, falling safely, personal safety, leadership, self-defense. I'm part of an ancient tradition. And in my martial arts school, the kids were awesome. The problem was a lot of times the kid needs a little more discipline or they need a little more confidence or they just need some clarity or some accountability. And what I found though was a lot of times the parents weren't on the same page or the parents didn't know how to get the best out of their kid. They'd say things like, don't run and versus just walk, please. And so I could say something 2% different and I get a different result with a kid. Well, 2% different is humans versus chimpanzees genetically. It's a huge difference in that 2%. And so I arrived at Men's Mentor because before that, I was working with parents on communication and working with parents in their marriage and their relationships. I had this whole parenting program thing, and I was working with parents on the stuff. And I realized how many men are just so stuck on being right versus getting results. And they're not being obstinate, they're not being egocentric, all the stereotypes about men never listening. No, they're trying to do the absolute best right thing they know how to do with what they have available. And when we judge men and make them wrong, when we shame them, very rarely do you get the best out of them. Same with teenagers, same with elders, same with kids, same with women. When we shame people, we don't get their best. And so that's the conversation that I've been building. So from, men's mentor today, parenting program, martial art master, really this all stems from when I was a kid. I had some bad stuff happen at 5 and 6 that took me sideways, made me feel guilty for being alive. Right. I found out at 8 years old I was one of 10 pregnancies. So my mom had 8 miscarriages and I was pregnancy 7 of 10. And I was already struggling with some stuff because I had bad things happen at 5 and 6. So why am I even alive? I don't want to. I'm so mad about existing. I'm so mad about why am I in so much pain? Why am I so angry? And I lived when I had 8 siblings who didn't. That's a lot to carry at 8 years old.
Mm.
And so I didn't have the tools. My parents didn't have the tools to realize the struggle I was going through. And over my life, I've built those tools. And now I teach other people here's what to look for, here's what to listen for, here's how to show up differently to get a different result versus getting stuck in being right and arguing for limitations or arguing for our pain and being stuck in it. So that's kind of the snapshot of the journey. I've been in the personal development experience for 44 years now, and I've been working with people professionally for 30 of those years.
So that is a lot of experience. So
Builds character.
I have all sorts of questions coming in my head from just what you just said. And one of them is, communication is so important.
Mm.
And I know there's some people in my life that we have argued about the same thing, the same issue. It just goes away and comes back
Mhm.
over the last 7 years. It's like, why is this coming back? I thought we decided to agree to disagree because we are both just like, I'm doing this. And he's like, I want to do this. And we're just like, no, it's never going to meet ever. So how do you handle those type of situations with any relationship?
Yeah, so that's real. First step, right? First step is we gotta, well, first step is awareness. We gotta realize there's something happening, right? Hey, we're not on the same page. We're not in agreement. We're not in alignment. There's lots of ways we can language even that miscommunication. You're wrong. I'm right. You're stupid. I'm smart. Like there's lots of ways to get into that conversation. If we start with I'm right, probably going to be very difficult to create some sort of a consensus or some sort of a shared vision. right? Is it 100% and zero? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 70-30? But it doesn't really matter if we're stuck on I'm right versus I have my perspective and I know why I think what I think and I know why I feel what I feel. Cool. Let me create some emptiness inside. Let me be curious about, well, what's driving this for you, right? Because if it hasn't been resolved, it's going to keep coming back. And the let's just not argue about it because the fight's not worth it, that's not resolution. Because you're still going to be carrying, both of you are going to be carrying tension in your nervous system. There's going to be, it's like a file's open on your computer and then you like bury it with a bunch of other active things, but it's still sitting in the background running and it's
Mhm.
burning memory and resources and it's taking energy out of the system. And until it gets resolved, it's still going to be there. And at some point, something's going to happen. Boom. And it's going to be a lightning rod. And then "Oh, I thought we were past this. Well, no, we're not because this and this and that and all this pent up stuff. And that's like, cool, we got to resolve this. Right. And it may just be something we never agree on, but I love you more than I care about being right about this. And then you have that agreement between the two of you. No, 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 it's okay. I know we're not going to see eye to eye. I love you more than. Cool. Then that's how you begin to like truly open your hand and just you carry it open hand instead of holding on to, but I was right about that. Right? So awareness is always the first step. Second step is acceptance. And accepting something doesn't mean I agree with it, but I have to accept the reality. No, this is a smart person. They're a loving person. They're coming at this from an angle I'm not fully understanding. And maybe I'm not at the place in my life that I can appreciate that. Because think about, us as adults in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s and our 50s. Are there beliefs? Are there causes? Are there values that we had in one decade of our life, 10 years later, don't feel the same anymore?
Mhm.
Right. So, what if this is a thing that the two of you actually can find agreement on, only you need 10 more years to get to that same page? And if we just pretend, well, then what would I need to think or feel or believe in 10 years to be okay with this? And could I believe that now versus waiting the 10 years? Because once your mind has the imagination to create, oh, I would have to feel this way about it or think this way about it from a genuine place. Well, part of your brain has created that reality. And now all we got to do is collapse time back to now, and you got it. There's nothing magic in 10 years
Mhm.
other than we believe that 10 years is going to make the difference. Cool. Well, then if that's what we can believe in 10 years, then how could we believe that now? And that's where usually somebody outside your pattern with your partner or your friend or your whoever, your family member, somebody outside of that can help get to that clarity faster because, when I'm working with a couple, I got no dog in this hunt. I don't care about being right. I care about results. And I think you both have value and I think you both have validity. And I suspect there's some things we're deleting or missing that might change this conversation.
Mhm.
So is this worth getting divorced over? Is this worth excommunicating this person from your life? Well, no. Okay, cool. So now I've got a benchmark of like, you're not going to end the relationship over this. Awesome. Let's work it back. And if no, I will divorce them over this, well, then shit, we got to have a different conversation because the intensity now, this is life and death of a relationship. That's a different reality. But I have to ask that question versus why I never thought of it like that. Well, no, I wouldn't. That's silly. I wouldn't divorce over this. Oh, okay, cool. Good to know. It's not a need. It's
Mhm.
a want. All right, cool. Different handling. So that's kind of how I would break that down.
And I like that distinction between it's a want or a need because I think
Hmm.
when I think of need, I think it's that person needing something because they need it to be safe. So
Yes,
you need something because it makes you feel safe. And when you don't have that, you don't feel safe. Where, a
thousand
want
percent.
is just, well, I want to have chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla ice cream. I mean,
How dare you? How dare you? Vanilla is so amazing. Like, come on. Yeah, I had a client I worked with, and she was in her 50s, divorced, dating a guy. She needs a good morning text. He lives an hour away. She needs a text in the morning just to say, "Hey, good morning, beautiful. How'd you sleep?" Something. If she doesn't get a good morning text, she's now in her head all day. Is he okay? Did he have a heart attack? Are we okay? Is he mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Like she's spun up and stressed. And I was like, okay, that's a need. And she goes, but doesn't that make me needy? And I said, no, right? Some trees, they need an acidic soil, and other trees do not need an acidic soil. And if you put the one tree in an acid soil, it will kill the tree. Does that make the tree needy or the tree has needs? So you need a good morning text. Cool. A smart man would align with that because he knows how to win with you and how to score points. Now, the guy she was dating, twice divorced, carrying a wound, I'm not going to have a woman tell me what to do. That's not a winnable game, right? And I wasn't working with him, I was working with her. And I'm not telling her leave him, don't leave him. But the reality is, he's got a wound with the feminine that he's still carrying, and he's not asking for help on that. Can't open, door's not open, not being invited to that conversation. So you have a decision to make. He's just not going to give you what you need to thrive. Is this a relationship worth pursuing? But I really like him. Okay. But he's not going to give you what you need to thrive.
Yeah.
So what you going to do about it?
Yeah. So she still has to make a decision, yes or no, stay
Exactly.
or go.
Is this a need or is this a want? No, no, I really do need this. Okay, then I think you have your answer. It's just scary.
Yeah. And that made me think of another question. So it and I could be generalizing here, but a lot of times, um, if a man asks a woman to do something, she'll go, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And she'll say when she's going to do it. You ask a man to do something, and this isn't always, but there's some men that you ask them to do something, and it's like, just like you said, don't tell me what to do. And it's like, you're just making a request. Can you just take the trash out? You know, you're just
Right, right.
making a request, but they're like, they're not going to do it because you ask them to do it. And I'm like, well, how do you get requests taken care of then?
Yeah, yeah. Part of it, you ask him, hey, I want to know how to put things on your radar so that you can just like line it up and kill it because, I know how capable you are and I know you've got a lot of stuff going on in your life. So I don't want to build a honey-do list. I don't want to put a bunch of stuff on your plate. However, when the trash is piled up, I get really stressed and I can't relax. And it's like, how like you get like a shirt with a snag in it and it just kind of stabs you if you sit just the right way. And so you're constantly like picking at it. So when the trash is at a certain point, that's how I feel. And then I don't want anyone to touch me. Now I like you and I really like when you touch me, but in that moment, I don't want you to touch me. So how can I make it easier for you so that like, you know, could you do this thing? Right? And then you do what's called a well-formed ask. Here's what I need or what I want. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it allows or makes possible or provides. And then here's and is there anything you need from me to do the thing I'm asking? Right? So you give those four corners because here's what I want. You don't need to justify it or rationalize it. Remember all the things I've done for you, so now you kind of owe me. Like that feels like strings attached manipulative versus here's what I need. I need this. Here's what it looks like. It would be this and this, right? So, like for you, the trash is full means what? Well, an inch below the lip, it's full. Where for him, the trash is full. No, no, I pushed it down twice and the lid's being pushed up. So you got two different definitions of full. So if you ask him, hey, do you think the trash is full? No, he answered your question, right? It wasn't when I said, do you think the trash is full? That was an invitation for you to take the trash out before I tell you to take the trash out because I don't want to be your mom. See, that's indirect communication, and that goes past each other because no, no, you asked me if the trash was full. I said no, it's not. I answered your question. I did good. I scored points. Versus, oh, you're drawing my attention to the trash because you want me to do something about it. Ah, different communication style, right? Dogs meow, dogs bark, cats meow. So you have to appreciate your partner's transfer, communication pattern. But so, okay, cool. My full is an inch below the lip. So if I say, hey, do you think the trash is full? I'm asking you to take the trash out, but I don't want to tell you. That's really what's going on. Are you okay with that? Can I say it differently? Would you like me to say, Almighty King, Slayer of all household demons, the trash is terrifying the family. Please slay this beast, right? And if that's what he needs or wants, do it. It's super easy because like then he gets to win. He gets to score points and he slayed the trash monster. Yes. Like find ways to make this stuff playful. I don't want to be a hag about this, dude. Like, how do we get on the same page? Just ask.
I really love that example because even now this week, I'm learning about creating courses and gamifying them because people get so much information now that you have to make it a game that's easy to win, and they
Yeah.
get lots of wins, or they don't want to play. They don't want to even learn what they intend to learn. So
Yeah.
if you can make everyday life that playful, oh, so
All
much.
kids play games and all kids tell stories. Doesn't matter how old the kid is. My grandma was 101 and a half when she passed, still playing games, still telling stories. The best games are win-win. You get to feel warm, big, and happy. I get to feel warm, big, and happy, right? But it is in all mammals play games, right? Lion cubs, when they're babies, are practicing killing each other and suffocating each other, and they're doing all the life and death stuff, just not the same level of energy. But it's a game that they're learning these skills to survive and perpetuate the species.
Mhm.
Cool. Align with that, right? Do what's already in our nature, and you'll win more likely. So I have a quiz for dads to take to like evaluate themselves in 9 areas. Why? 0 to 10, these key 9 dimensions. How are you doing, dude? Not because you're wrong, because it's feedback on where you're at, how you're playing the game, so we can change the game,
Mhm.
right? The only question I have for my clients, do you want to be right or do you want to get results? Well, I guess two. Do you want to be right? Do you want to get results? And then do you want help with that?
Mhm.
That's it. Because if I want results, cool. And then I want help, cool. If I can do that in 10 minutes and solve something you've been struggling with for 10 years, is that okay? Or would you prefer I take 10 months?
Mhm.
I fixed the guy's marriage. It was sexless. And he and I had one conversation, and it was a 2-year problem in a 19-year marriage. He and I talked on a Sunday. He and his wife talked on a Wednesday. They were back in bed that night.
Mhm.
So he hired me for 3 months. We only did one session because his issue got resolved.
And don't we all love that to just have something resolve like that, almost like disappear?
A lot of people have a hard time believing that's possible because they've been struggling for so long. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, square peg, round hole. You gotta make adjustments. And my job isn't to be right. And my job is not to justify. My job is, what are you doing? Cool. Let's iterate. Let's calibrate. Let's adjust
Mhm.
until you get your result.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm curious. I'm a grandmother now. I'll just say that. I won't say my age,
No
but I'm a
way.
grandmother now.
No way.
And, Um,
You look fantastic. I would never in a million years have gone, well, obviously you're a grandmother. You would know. Like, no, I wouldn't even be there.
well, thank you. So I've seen a big shift from, as a child, the man being the head of the household, but, kind of ruling the roost, and the wife is the helpmeet, which is, the way God set it up. But, basically they took responsibility for the money, for the protection of the family, for the safety of the family, and to keep the family going. And as I've seen the generations come up, I see a lot of young men, the ones in their 20s, early 30s, and they are confused because there's been different rhetoric about, women who won't let you open the door for them, or, you know, and women who are making more money, or who are just more powerfully, their character is just stronger. And it's almost like roles are flipping. And a lot of men just don't know how are they supposed to react to these women, and how does this fit?
Hmm. Yeah. So it really comes down to there's two major styles of leadership, what's called positional authority and influential leadership, right? And Margaret Thatcher has a great quote, right? Former British Prime Minister. She said, being powerful is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. And so when you have to tell people your relationship, you have to listen to me because I am your father, mother, sister, brother, boss, pastor, whatever the structure. I am this role. You have to listen to me. You are out of power because that is a positional authority. That is a positional label that only works if other people are in the same power structure as you. And when they're not, Get bent, dude. I don't have to listen. Shut up. Right? Because of the stuff I went through at 5 and 6 years old, positional authority did not work on me as a kid. And you could not force me into compliance with pain. You could not punish me enough to make me care. And I knew you're not going to kill me, so I don't have to listen to you. Oh, I'm going to go to timeout. Okay, big deal. You know what? I don't like timeout. I don't like going in my room. It's boring. So what I will do is I was wrong and I was bad. Now you learn a lesson and I would get a spanking. And then I can go outside and play because you're going to feel bad about spanking me and I'm going to leverage that later because I got stuff I want to do because in my room is boring and outside is fun.
Mm.
So what do you do with somebody who doesn't want to respond to pain to force compliance? Well, you got to elevate your leadership. You got to get to influential leadership, which is aligning vision and values. It's about rapport. It's about vision. And so you get but I'm the man I'm supposed to. That's position. Now, if you as a person, you as a man feel called to show up certain ways, fantastic. Own that. But then, I'm going to open the door for this woman and she won't let me. It sounds like that's not somebody you should date. Not because she's wrong as a person or her values or her life or who she is. She's not a good match for you. Cool. Don't say all women because if you show up defensive and judgmental, guess what that tends to do with the other person? They get judgmental and defensive also because we have what are called mirror neurons. We mirror what we see other people doing, right? Part of my life as a martial artist, I taught self-defense. And I had a video I used to show to kids where it was this girl on a street corner and somebody's like grabbing her and she's like making noise. She never says, this is not my mom, this is not my dad. She never specifically calls out what's going on. And it's a video of people just walking by and there's a slight reaction or a slight something, but nobody else is doing anything. So I guess I shouldn't either. It's called the bystander effect, right? We all get into this group hypnosis. If everyone's doing X, then I should be doing X too. And the experiment continued for almost an hour until two gentlemen came out of a store across the street of a different ethnicity than this young lady. They heard the yelling and stuff. One guy started to he heard it and he turned to take a step. His buddy dropped his bag and started sprinting. At the same time, a truck stopped and a guy got out of the truck and a lady across the street called 911. Four people responded to one guy taking a step towards the danger just to ask what's going on. And the people doing the experiment were like, hey, cameras, experiment, nothing bad's happening here, nothing untoward. We got a cop over there watching. This is all legal, right? Because he didn't want to get beat up.
Mhm.
But you have to take a stand for what you know to be true or what you know to be right. Do not paint these giant, huge, broad, all women, all men. No, because you're robbing your capacity to actually get what you want with these stupid generalizations. Right. And then the second piece is a mind once stretched never fits the original packaging. When people have more freedom, they tend to want to keep it. Right. Right now in Saudi Arabia, for a woman to show her wrist, scandalous. For a woman to show her ankle, God, how dare you? Travesty. So for the guys that are like, oh, but women are supposed to, the Bible says, cool. So how much limitation do you want on your wives and daughters? Because women didn't get the ability to get credit cards until the 1970s. So how much limitation do you want on your wife and daughter? Do you want her to require she has to have a male relative go with her everywhere? Do you want to bring back honor killings? Like, how far do you want to go? Where do you want to put the line in the sand of how women are supposed to be, men telling women how they're supposed to be? Please educate me because I'm the father of a daughter and she is amazing. And she has so much love and so much light and so much playfulness. And for someone to say she is wrong for thinking or feeling or wanting to do or be anything, get bent.
Mhm.
Now, you don't feel the rapport with someone, you're unsure how to reach out to someone or connect. Cool. Those are skills we can improve. Right. In my Kung Fu school, I had a 13-year-old and he was like, oh, I just want to find my soulmate. Back of the head. I'm like, what are you talking about, soulmate? You're 13. Where are you guys going to live? Your mom's house in the basement? What are you going to do for work? How are you going to provide for her? Who are you? What are you here to offer the world? Where do you stand? What do you actually believe? Because right now, you won't do chores when your mom asks you to. And you're going to find your soulmate and live with her? Grow up. You don't know who you are. You don't know where you stand. You don't know what your purpose is. There are so many things you don't know about yourself and about life. How are you going to make money? How are you going to invest? There's so much. But if you're keyed in on, but I just want to find the love of my life, dude, wrong sequence,
Mm.
right? You guys are going to live on the street together? Is that your goal? Is that your big vision? And she's going to be excited to be homeless with you? Because you're 13, you can't get a job. Although now with social media, you actually could. You could create a channel and you could monetize it through your parents. And there's all kinds of things we could do differently now, right? But the point is, it's not about women these days, modern women. Like it's none of that stuff unless you make it that stuff and then you just empower yourself, right? Because the story you tell becomes your reality. So if you see the limitation versus, nah, babe, you don't have to get the door. I mean, I don't, you can totally get your own door. I want to get it for you because I'm aware of where we are. I'm aware of what's going on. And it's not because you can't, it's because you shouldn't have to.
Mm.
You are more important, right? So, what's the story you create with this woman to make her feel cherished, to make her feel seen and heard and understood and appreciated, make her feel like she is the most sublime creature that you have ever met, and you cannot imagine another moment without spending time with her? Make her feel like that. She's not going to care about who opens the door or doesn't open the door. Right? And that's the magic. Again, what do you want? Don't run or walk. Say what you want, and then you can build it.
Yeah. So, how do we honor others? How do we honor our partner, our kids, our parents?
Yeah, meet them where they are, right? Because if you need them to be something different, is that about them or is that about you? I need you to, it's like a lot of kids. It's like, oh, I was too loud as a kid. Oh, no, 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 you weren't too loud. You were too loud for somebody in some way, sure.
Mhm.
But you were never too loud for yourself, right? You didn't go, oh man, I'm too loud. I scared myself. You didn't do that. Right? Somebody told you you're too loud. What they meant was you're too loud for me in that way right now.
Mhm.
Right? They deleted all the context and we internalized this big, huge generalization. Right? My daughter, she is a visual person. She sees, she does. That's how she learns. My stepson is auditory. My stepson, when he was a kid, if you say I'm disappointed, oh, it's the worst. I'm disappointed, slays. My daughter, same age, I'm disappointed. Her attitude essentially is sucks to be you. What's that got to do with me? Right? Like she doesn't understand. Okay, you're disappointed. Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like that's a you thing. Like that's not like she wasn't coming at it with that kind of an attitude, like overtly, but that was kind of the vibe. And so it's like, cool, we have to reach her differently. Awesome. So let me give her what she needs to thrive, and let me give him what he needs to thrive, which is different. The key though is what's going to help you thrive? What's going to help you be your best person? Am I giving you what I'm comfortable giving you? Am I giving you what I want to give you? Am I giving you what I have available to give you? Am I giving you what you need? Those are all different questions. And to give somebody what they need, then you got to like pay attention. You got to like engage with them and ask questions and be curious and be open and realize we are all works in progress, right? A lot of parents stumble because, well, you used to like, and it's like, you got to update the operating system. You got to update the thing because
Mhm.
I was 10, I'm 20, right? Or I was 5 and I'm 15. Like, I'm not into that stuff anymore. But you used to be,
Mhm.
right? And the parents are now hurting and wounded and feeling disconnected and feeling, well, okay, cool. Say that. I miss you. I miss connecting with you. And I know you're a work in progress. I know you're expanding. What are you into these days? Because I feel like I don't fully know you and I want to because I think you're really cool.
Mhm. That's true.
Right?
When you said that, it reminded me of family members who would get my kids like a Christmas or birthday present, and they're now 12, and they they bought them Hello Kitty or or a Barbie, or
Yeah.
they're not playing with Barbies anymore. But
Well, for some teenagers, the Hello Kitty may be a thing because they're into Japanese culture.
uh, but you know what I mean. They're
Yeah.
getting them something that they used to really like, but now
New
they've
season.
moved on to something else.
Yeah. So I use a framework. It's called reason, season, lifetime. And reason we draw as a X or as a cross sign, right? Because you got one thing going this way, one thing going that way. They connect in the middle. Two lives impact each other. We had a moment. There was a reason. Cool. Then we have a season where things come together for a period of time. It's like two backward parentheticals, and it comes together and it journeys and then it separates. Cool. And then we got lifetime, right? Kid, I'm always going to be your dad, mom, grandma, grandpa. I'm always going to be your person in this way. But I also realize seasons change. And this used to be cool and now it's not cool. And I know it's okay. Your tastes are expanding. I just want to appreciate the journey you're on, and I want to kind of witness where you are because like your main character, I'm supporting character in your life. I get it, right? But I want to amplify you and add momentums. What are you into,
Mhm.
right? Just that we call it an open frame because I don't need a specific answer. I'm not angling for you have to say a certain thing a certain way. I'm genuinely curious. And when you tell yourself you're genuinely curious, guess what happens? You tend to show up more curious versus I'm angry. Tend to show up angry. Like, cool. Use that power.
Yeah. When you talked about seasons, it made me think, throughout life we have different friendships.
Hmm.
And, the people that I was close to as a child, I haven't talked to them in 30 years.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in a relationship. A lot of them just fall away on their own. You just go get busy doing other things. But let's say there's a relationship that's not healthy anymore, or you're just moving in a different direction. How do you, um, in the best, healthiest way, separate from someone that you were really good friends with, but now you're moving somewhere else?
First thing I ask is it necessary to close this loop? Or can I just leave it open and let it slowly fade over time? Right? Does this need to be directly handled? That's the first question because that if it's not, I have to get closure on this. And it's a need, right? I need closure on this. I can't have this person. And I've had people in my life that love spending time, but like 6 hours, we're not going anywhere. We're not accomplishing anything. And it's a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, it's pointless for my goals and my vision and my values. So first step is does it need closure? Second is do you have a hierarchy of friendships? Like, do you have a hierarchy of relationships? Like, who's your inner circle? Who's your like your brain trust? Like, these are my go-to people in a crisis. Who's your peers and mentors, friends, family, acquaintances, strangers? Like, do you have that list? And it doesn't have to be super formal, but
Mhm.
it's helpful to have that just because, well, here's the rights and responsibilities on both sides. If somebody is at this level with me, then they get this kind of access and support, and they get this kind of, I expect this kind of stuff from them. And where is this person? Are they really at this level? Are they really showing up? Do I want them to? Do I think they could? Or is it my peer group has expanded, my life has expanded, and I can't revisit that. Because then you can move them down on that hierarchy, friend to acquaintance. And how do I handle acquaintances? A little more distance, a little less availability. Maybe not totally a stranger, but maybe eventually a stranger, right? There's that great song, Somebody That I Used to Know.
Mhm.
Helpful because, and then you go to, okay, I got to close this out. Listen, I just got to be clear with you. I have loved X and Y and Z of our time and our lives together. And full transparency, this is the direction I'm going. And I would never want to change you or make you change yourself. However, I have concerns about A and B and C that really aren't in alignment with the direction I'm going. And I mean, the door's open if you want to come join me, and no judgment. But personally, I'm feeling our seasons are moving in different directions. And I'm going to be putting less time and energy into us spending time together simply because I've got these other opportunities over here that require more of my time, more of my energy. And if that hurts you, I'm sorry, I don't intend to hurt you. I want to be like open with you and honest with you. And if you hate me, then maybe I misunderstood our relationship from the rip because I don't think this is something to hate over. I think this is something to appreciate that it happened.
Yeah, that's really well said. Thank you. So another thing I was thinking of is, a lot of people talk about forgiveness. And, when we have lost someone's trust, whether we're going to continue in a relationship or maybe we're going to separate, but we might still have the possibility of seeing them later in life, even if they're not close to us.
Hmm.
Um, what's important about forgiveness? How do we handle that? How do we ask forgiveness? How do we regain that trust? Is it possible to gain someone's trust?
Yeah, absolutely. You can totally regain someone's trust, but expect to be tested along the way. Expect them to rub your face in it and see how you respond, right? And it's not something you can demand. It's something you can only cultivate. And you got to give opportunities to be under stress again and pass the test. They have every right to be mad. They have every right to be upset. And if you don't understand that, if you get defensive or justify, you're not ready, right? You have to do your own healing with yourself and why and how and where and what drove this. Any fault, any blame, any guilt, any shame, any finger pointing, any reaction, that there's still a wound inside you that's not resolved. So you need to do the work inside you first because you cannot ask them to trust you when you know you can't trust yourself.
Mhm.
Can't give what you don't have. So you have to do the work on your own thing, causes and cures, like what this happened for a reason. Go find the source and resolve it at the source. Then we can talk about rebuilding with someone else. But I'm scared. I'm afraid. I don't want to lose you. That's all manipulative crap. That's the codependent, you complete me BS from that stupid movie, right?
Mhm.
That's like toxic because I only feel good if you feel good with me. Oh, okay. So you can't be your own person yet? We got to fix that first, right? So what's in a relationship? What's one plus one?
Um, two,
One. In a relationship, one plus one's one
just one.
because we're on the same page, and it doesn't matter business relationship, intimate, parenting, friendship, whatever. One plus one is one. I got you. We're cool.
Mhm.
100%. When you violate trust, it's no longer one plus one is one because you tore that connection, that unity of whatever structure, you just tore that in half. You've literally cut a piece of me open. How am I supposed to how? Right? It's like I'm making dinner and my left hand slaps me in the face. Like what huh? Right? And so like what's a half plus a half is nothing. Because if I don't understand me and you don't understand you, then when we come together, we're going to create more confusion, not more understanding. So you
Mhm.
got to be your own person first. And so whatever caused that breach of trust, that violation, you got to get like laser clear on exactly what that was, where it came from, and resolve it so that it never happens again. Because then when they test you as you're trying to rebuild trust, they're going to test you. You're 100% clear. No, you're right. You have every right to feel that way because dot, dot, dot. And I realized, and this is the new standard, and here's how I'm showing up, and you're free to test me. Now, they never stop testing you. Then you got to ask yourself, is this really a relationship worth pursuing? It's been 10 years and you're still rubbing my face in it every day. They got to do their work to truly get healed as well because they're still giving you all this power, still living in all this defensiveness. Right. And that's not to say either person is wrong because you're both allowed your own experience. And there may be certain violations. I can just never trust you again. Okay. Then let's call it a day. And I will own this impact and this mistake. I will own this the rest of my life. And I lose you as a XYZ, as a friend, as a lover, as a partner, as a whatever. I lose that and I understand that. And then we can both walk away heads held high, even if we're not fully simpatico with each other. Them's the breaks. But did you genuinely, I did the work in me, and then I reached out to you, and you didn't do the work in you? Okay. I'm not here to make you wrong for that. It's not, well, you should because you care. No, that's manipulation, right? If I'm going to make you wrong, I'm going to try to shame you for you not being willing to do the thing that I did. Nah, it just means we're not in alignment. Okay. It's like a washing machine that's slightly unbalanced and it's like banging. Well, then rebalance it. And if you can't rebalance it with this person, okay, don't do that ever again. Did you learn something?
Mhm.
Right? Because I've had relationships fail and I lost people that I didn't want to lose. I needed to because the man I am now came from the losses and the wounds and the scars. I had to own that, right? We talk about, developing men. there's really like three levels. We can call it boy, man, king. We can call it the prince, the knight, and the king. We can talk about the white knight, the red knight, the black knight. There's lots of ways we can frame out the conversation, but it really use the white knight, red knight, black knight. White knight is a guy who's untested, and he's got all of his theories. He's a knight in shining armor. That
Mhm.
means you've never been tested. That means you've never been in battle because your armor is so clean and gleaming and bright. You got a bunch of principles and lots of shoulds and lots of theories, right? But women are supposed to. How many women have you dated? Well, I don't see why that has to do with anything. Okay. You haven't been around real women. Okay, cool. Good talk. So level one, boy, white knight, like theories and shoulds and pretend and make believe and fantasy. Red Knight is a guy, he's in the work, he's doing the thing. This is the mastering the man. But a lot of times Red Knight, it's about power. And Red Knights, they're bloody and they're in battle and they're slaying the threat and they're not safe necessarily, right? But they're also not satiated. They're hungry and they're hurting. And this is the guys that are screaming for attention and notice me. And women are, and men are, and kids are. And they're so adamant. They're so righteous about stuff because I'm in it and I see it every day and I know. And they argue for their limitations and they argue for their, because they're still in battle.
Mhm.
The Black Knight, the king, the man who truly owns himself, he's no longer a red knight. The Black Knight, the blood got crusty and his armor is damaged and he's got scars and he's got chinks in his armor and he's wounded and he knows how far he's willing to go to get what he wants or to do what he needs to do. He would prefer not to. I would rather not let loose the hounds of hell. I would rather not have to battle. Can we figure out another way? The Black Knight is a man who knows good, bad, and sideways. He knows who and what he is. All the guys out there that are like, oh, the woman's body count. It's like a king doesn't care. She has a past. We all do. Get over it. Do you find the person in front of you, this woman, to be captivating, tantalizing, amazing? Cool. Then whatever it took to get her to be in this place is none of your business because who she is now is what matters. And where we go together is much more interesting. I'm much more curious about your future than I ever care about your past. Yeah, but she blah, blah, blah. Okay, Red Knight, calm down. Do
Mhm.
you have a past? Do you want it broadcast to the world too? Okay, then shut up. Meet her now and move forward. And so that's really that Black Knight, that king energy, that owning yourself. Because then you don't need all this justification and rationalization and posturing, but women are supposed to, really. And how long have you been a woman? Then you should probably shut up,
Mhm.
right? Do you have a uterus? No? Okay, then you should probably shut up.
Mhm.
But women use their periods. I'm sorry, have you ever been hormonally oppressed? Yes, you have. You ever been so hungry you can't think? Right. That's what hormones do to you. Hormones trump your conscious system because hormones drive. When you are hungry, you are hungry. And there's no amount of we'll just ignore it, right? So these three layers, you begin to start realizing the level of, dude, I own myself and I don't need the justification, the rationalization. I don't need the story to support it because I know me. Right? Um, Yesterday somebody posted online about, well, I don't want to post this out, or people don't believe me. I can totally transform a man's life in 6 hours. And I was being goofy, and he and I don't really know each other. But he had friend requested me, and he's in the men's space. But I just put a thing on, I'm like, 2 hours, or 6 hours, hell, I can do it in two. And I had a video of somebody I worked on. He got really mad at me,
Oh
and
my
then he schooled me and tagged me, and I'm gonna let you see this, and then I'm gonna block you because like you're just a dick, and how dare you, and all this stuff. And I'm like, there's a part of me like I get where he's coming from, and yeah, I probably was a little bit of a jerk about that, and I owe him an apology, 100%. On the other side, when people do that stuff to me, I delete the comment, and if we're connected, I just message them, "Yo, what was that about? What's going
God.
on? You okay?" Like I get curious,
Mhm.
right? But defensive people get defensive, and so for him to have such a strong negative reaction, I'm like, dude, who peed in your Wheaties?
Mhm.
Because that wasn't me that made you react the way that you reacted. That was you. So you've got a momentum somewhere in there, right? So to me, as doing this as long as I've done it, it's like you got something to work on, dude. Like that wasn't my intent. You didn't ask me my intent. You immediately jumped to a conclusion and crucified me for it and publicly shamed me over it, you think? You are where you are. It's okay. But that could have been a really cool opportunity. Part of the reason I did it too is social media controversy invites algorithms. And his post was a couple of days old, not really a lot of stuff going on. So let's start a fire,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I probably should have told him that before I did it versus just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Lessons learned, c'est la vie, right?
That's right. That's right. And that just brings to, one more thing. People don't always know what you mean when you say words or when you post something.
Context is powerful, and most people don't ask. They immediately jump to a conclusion. Well, you said so you meant. Did I?
Mhm.
Did you ask me what I meant? Or did you assume you knew what I meant? I was just being playful, like 6 hours. Hell, I can do it in two. And that's where you come back and you're like, two, shit, I can do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes, hell, I can do it in 1 second. 1 second, do it in nanoseconds, right? This is someone who owns themselves and they're being played. They're like, get
Mhm.
bent. What? We're not in competition. There is no competition.
Mhm.
There's men ending their lives for their BS, their belief system. So anybody who has anything good to say, sure. I tout friends of mine that are in the space because, hey, I'm not everybody's cup of tea and I know it. It's a buddy of mine. He's got a Facebook group with like 65,000 men in it. Cool. You should probably go check out what he's doing. Maybe it'll land for you better or differently than what I'm doing. Right? I'm not here to hold on to everybody. I know I can't. There's so much more pain and misery in the world than I could ever resolve. I get a little tiny slice. Cool. So let me go find my people. But I come across people who aren't my people who are hurting. Hey, you know what? I know like 10 or 15 people. Let me make some introductions. More than happy to share. Unfortunately, not everybody does that.
Yeah. So I know there's people that would love to find out if they are your people and like to connect with you. Also, you have written books and a big book with case studies. And at this point, why don't you tell us how do we find you? What services you have about your books?
Yep, give me 1 second. My wife just she's got to go drop the daughter off at a co-op. Give me one. You can cut this. We're not doing a live broadcast. Um, there we go. Okay. So, yes. So, real quick, if people want to kind of like guys want to get a snapshot of themselves, right? Easiest thing to do is leadlikeaking.com/quiz. Go take the King's quiz. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. It's 9 questions. It's a self-assessment. I'll create a heat map. I'll message you. We can set up an appointment. There's a link at the bottom if you want to get on my schedule to talk about it. Totally free because it's just a way to look at your life. How are things going? Right? I had a dad that filled it out, 2 out of 10 in presence. Okay, cool. What does that mean to you? Well, I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and um, they start arguing with mom or each other or whatever. And after about 10 minutes, man, I just lose my shiz and I'm like yelling and I'm angry and I don't want to be that dad, but I don't know what to do. All right, cool. What would be a 10? I never get angry at my sons. All right. See, now I've got a bookend
Hmm.
we can build, right? And I can stretch him from 10 minutes to 20 minutes in less than 30 days, and I can guarantee that because there's strategies to de-escalate his kids, there's strategies to de-escalate himself. Right? And it's not complicated. It's just he's never seen it. And he's never, like, this is the first time he's raised two boys. When he does it again, he'll do it better. But until then, it's like, cool, let's just get you some different strategies. And then what's it worth to you to know how to not be angry with your sons the rest of their lives? Oh my God, that's priceless. Okay, well, I can't charge that. So we gotta quantify this into a dollar amount to make it a reasonable fee for service. But yeah, you never get angry with them. Yeah, I can build that. And it's like, oh, that sounds like a big thing. I'm like, well, but it's not really, because if you know how to de-escalate them and de-escalate yourself, and you realize anger is an invitation to something else, cool. You can pull out of anger super fast with the right tools, the right frameworks. And so that whole conversation, we start it with a quiz. That's the easiest thing to do. Um, The other thing you can do for guys that like maybe they don't want to talk to me yet, they're not ready, or they're just like, well, there's a lot. Go look for on YouTube, it's called The Silent Throne. And it's like The Alchemist, but for the modern age. And it's the story of a man who is successful in the world, who comes home to an emotionally empty house. His throne has gone silent. And how does he recover and rebuild back to a thriving kingdom? And it's four different clients that I built into the story and just put it under one guy and tell it as an allegory. But that book is available. It's on Amazon if you want to buy it. It's on YouTube for free if you want to listen to it. It's about 2 hours. After that, there's a course for self-mastery that is called the Self-Mastery Path. And those two are really the best two. If you're not ready for one-on-one, that's cool. Like I'll meet you there. That's why I have the Silent Throne. And anybody who ever tells you nobody cares about men, share that link. Share the link to the Silent Throne and say, actually, there are people that care about men. Here's a free book. And it's a free audiobook. And it's like, here's the whole story. And it's really cool. They can also look for me online. I'm the only Jeremy Roadruck on the internet. And Q4 of 2025, this book is coming out for the holidays. Lead Like a King, The Proven Roadmap to Mastering Marriage, Unstoppable Leadership, and Deeper Connections. This has 51 case studies tied to what I call the roadmap to relationship mastery for men, which is the 9 questions maps into the roadmap. And 5 to 6 case studies per each of the 9 steps. So several different examples. We have a presenting problem, the journey that we went on in a session or several sometimes, the um the action steps you can take away from this, feedback from the client, and then your invitation to take it a step deeper. And that'll be out on Amazon, Kindle. The Audible won't be done by then because it's a lot to Audible. But yeah, those are the things. And leadlikeaking.com is my main site.
Okay, thank you. So now I have a personal question. What gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
Dude, getting to watch my wife and my daughter like growing through the seasons and experiencing life and love. Because my daughter is now 11. She showed up 14 weeks early at 1 pound, 1.8 ounces, and she was in the NICU for 13 weeks. And so twice we didn't know if she was coming home. We had a doctor point blank tell us not to plan on bringing her home. And we just did 11 years.
Mhm.
And she's still rocking and rolling. She is just such a bundle of engaging with the world. And the time with them is the coolest experience. I wanted to be a dad since I was 9. It didn't happen until I was 39. So I had 30 years to get ready. And it's been the coolest thing. And so that is personally rewarding. And then helping dads to get to this place in their own lives so that they appreciate the journeys and the pains they've been through. Like that's professionally rewarding because to take the judgment out of themselves, it becomes a gift for their families because dad's no longer judging, he's appreciating. And it opens so much. And so for the ladies that are listening, if you love your husbands and you see that he's got some friction points, it may be, hey, go listen to this guy. I want you to work with him. Um, you know, we can take therapy's good, but sometimes it gets stuck in languaging situations versus, but what do you actually want?
Mhm.
Right? And let's just get you what you want. And that's why I'm not a therapist. I don't do therapy. I just do results. And that's kind of my shtick. You know, people get mad at me. Well, you can't talk mental health. I know. I talk mental process.
Mhm.
What if there's no such thing as mental health? Because mental health automatically presupposes mental illness, and it creates this teeter-totter dichotomy versus what if you have a way of your internal process, and how's that working for you? What if we could change some things?
Mhm.
Just a conversation. And if things could change, and then they did change, how would you feel? What else would that make possible? Cool, let's go play. Like that's the angle, right? It's just we have a conversation and your life gets better. How cool is that?
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing all your wisdom and like very usable examples. So
Thank you. I hope this serves, and I hope you get great feedback from your audience to say, do more. And yeah, that's what I'm here to do is I'm here to serve.
yeah. So I have one last question for you. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
Learn to appreciate it, good, bad, and sideways. Right. I have a great quote from Rumi. It says the shame, the malice, whatever knocks at the door, open it and greet it with with welcoming arms because it all comes from it comes from the beyond, right? Good, bad, or sideways, if you can appreciate the experience, you can unlock it faster than ever. And appreciate doesn't always mean agree, but you can just, okay, I can have some gratitude with this because wow, what a thing. Sometimes it's to raise your standards. Sometimes it's to lower your standards because you're being inhumane. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. And if it's not effortless, then that's feedback. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy.
My pleasure, Dr. Kimberly. It has been fantastic.
Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. See you.